the Wynn Macau Guia race. The TCR Asia Challenge Race 1 is set to get underway. Welcome to the Guia circuit. David Addison, Alan Hyde with you for what promises to be a very lively 9-lap race. Andy Yan in the Honda Civic is on pole position, the 2017 TCR China champion, and alongside not only Andy Yan, but a brace of pandas on the front row is Ho Si-ho in the very rapid Hyundai, the Cataclean-supported car, which has been rapid all weekend, but not quite rapid enough in the qualifying session. It has left him with a little bit of work to do going into the first of the two equal-distance 9-lap races, with the grid being based with the top 12 should have been. They're qualifying 2 times, but we never actually got to Q2 because of so many dramas and red flags. It ended up only being a single qualifying session. You've just seen Felipe de Souza third on the grid. Huang Ruohan will line up fourth with Honda, with Hyundai and Audi. Alan, all at the front of the grid.
I just want to take up the fact that I just saw a minion on the front of Felipe de Souza's car. He's got a sunscreen over the windscreen to keep him cool inside the car, with rising temperatures up to 26 degrees, and it is the eyes of a minion.
Well, there, the eyes you can see are those of Chen Shi-on, and he's going to line up 7th on the grid. There's a gap where Billy Lowe should have been. 95, who will start 6th, just ahead of him, is Hu Huang in another of the Audis, the RS3 LMS TCR, to give it its full title in that sort of pseudo-Gulf colour scheme. The powder blue and orange.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's close. It's close enough. And a thumbs up is always a good sign. Can't miss this car, can we?
No, even if you wanted to. Eureka de Jesus, the Macau driver in the very, very distinctive pink Honda from the Mac Pro racing team, regular here in touring cars or GT events. And the next car that we come to on the grid there, number 93, which is Ryan Wong. He was up the escape road and in strife in free practice back on Thursday, but Ryan Wong should be a man to watch here.
Yep, and we'll make our way right the way down the field and get an indication from each of the drivers that they are very much looking forward to the start of our, well, essentially second touring car race of the day. We've just enjoyed one touring car race. This is the second. This is for the prestigious Guia race. That's the 42 car of Chan Weng Tong, Songfen Racing Team entered car.
And that's Jason Mock's Honda that was late getting to the grid, but he is there. And Jason Mock in the Shell Helix colours, another of the Honda Civics that we have on the grid. We've got 1 or 2 FK2s like his, but the bulk are FK7 shape Civics. 45 is the delectable Alfa Romeo Giulietta TCR from Team Endless of Yu Long, who's raced in TCR Asia as well as in the Macau Touring Car Cup here in the past. But the Alfa Romeo Giulietta is good to go. Jason Mock's car with Happy Birthday for Al on the top of it.
Wrong date.
Something you didn't tell us.
No, wrong date.
You did have 2 birthdays.
I wouldn't mind.
53, which is Mike Un. Now, that was a car that picked up some damage yesterday, wasn't it? And did a lot of barrier damage. It delayed things by going off at Fisherman's. The car looks okay, but that's, in a way, a bit of a surprise given the length of the delay we suffered.
And he looks okay as well. Yeah. Looking forward to the start of this. So the team have clearly worked hard. 72 is Leung Ken Hay in the Spark Racing Honda. Not in the car yet. Car story, it says at the front of the 88 Audi. And that's Hu Wai Hung in the Team Prospect Audi. Hello.
Thank you for calling. And 15 is Zhang Hang Biao. Another regular, not only in TCR Asia, of which this is a scoring round, but also TCR China. And he drives the Cupra TCR. The grid now being cleared, and they will, of course, have a formation lap. There is the next to the Civics, number 32 of Hu Xiaoxin from the China touring car background. And a driver to keep an eye on, I suspect, over the course of these 9 laps, starting on the 11th row of the grid.
Lai Jing Weng in the 326 Racing Team Audi. Last few cars on the grid now. 77, that's the car of Yu Zhenwei in the Star Cars Racing Honda. Double thumbs up
the last car on the grid should be number 6, the Hyundai i30N of Tensar Tsun. So there the grid, you can see the gap where sadly missing is Billy Lowe, whose car picked up some damage yesterday. And is there another gap as well? 56 possibly, Jiang Wei. Looks like he might be missing there also. However, we are almost ready to go. Grid will be cleared. Temperature's getting hotter all the time here. It's a great shot, that, looking out over the water. That almost cools you down, but the temperatures are going up. 27 degrees now, partly cloudy, still fairly humid. And
that is, so the grandstand that you see on the back, that water is just out the other side of the, and it's quite a surreal feeling when you go out to the back of the grandstand where the commentary boxes are, and you look over the water. You could be in a different part of the world. It's quite incredible. It's completely away from racing and from the colour and the glamour of the Macau Grand Prix.
So a reminder of the grid with Andy Yan on pole position and Ho Si Ho alongside him. On the second row of the grid, Felipe de Souza lines up with Hang Guo Han for company. The third row, no Billy Lowe, but Hu Hang is there ahead of Chen Xion and Ryan Wang. On the fifth row, there is Eureka de Jesus and Jason Mock ahead of then Chang Wan Tang and Leung Ken Hei. Then you've got Yu Long from Jianghao Biao. Deng Bo Wei is on the 8th row with Lai Jiangwen for company. The 9th row of the grid, Mike and alongside Wang Qinheng. Then there is Eason Wu and a gap where Jiang Wei should have been. Hu Jiaxin on the 11th row has Samuel Sher for company ahead of Ouyang Yanwei and Tensar Sun to round out the grid. The grid is now being cleared. Engines will fire at the 1 minute board. Engineers will leave the grid. And then our second touring car event will get underway. We've already had the Macau Touring Car Cup, won by Rob Huff, or part one at least, won by Rob Huff. And now the equivalent race for TCR Asia Challenge, the Wynn Macau Guia race, ready to get underway.
It's a great shot, isn't it? Looking down on the very colourful grid for the entry to the Wynn Macau Guia race, TCR Asia Challenge. It's a part of the world, we mention it often, where you see some very bright, very colourful liveries, this part of the world, and I think it's a great thing as well. You will always be left in no doubt where in the world you are racing when you come here to Macau. Always very bright, always very colourful, and always lots and lots of smiles for the Macau Grand Prix. Brings a lot of joy to a lot of people, this event.
And that is a man who stands on the brink, perhaps, of a victory in the Guia race, because Andy Yan has got to start as the favourite here. He is a successful driver. He was away in Paul Ricard last month, representing Hong Kong, China, within the FIA Motorsport Games. Come on, baby, it says on the car. And he is about, I'm sure, to deliver in style here, because with his track record, he's going to be the man to beat. Not saying he's going to have it easy, but he will be the man to beat. The course cars there at the back, ready to chase on the opening lap. The last minute ticks down before the cars set off onto that formation lap. The one-by-one staggered grid, for which pole position, as you see, is on the outside on the run down towards Reservoir Bend. And then, of course, there's that fast section, speed building all the time through Mandarin down towards Lisboa.
Pick your winner, and we'll find out at the end of 9 laps, both of the touring car categories this weekend. Race on both days over the course of 9 laps. Tomorrow for the prestigious Guia race. Today, it's a 9-lap race for the Wynn Macau Guia race and TCR Asia Challenge. Engines you can hear already fired up, and the green flag is waved. They will go off on a formation lap around 6.2 kilometres around the streets of Macau. And important work to be done here to get tyres up to temperature. 27 degrees now here, 5 to 1 in the afternoon here at Macau. And this is where the hard work starts. Formation tyre warming there for a moment between the 2 cars at the front of the field. That's Lo Si Ho and Andy Yan on pole position.
Now, within TCR Asia this year, wins have been rather shared between Zhang Zhijiang, Sunny Wong, David Zhu, Rodolfo Avila, all of whom, for this weekend, have moved to the China Touring Car event and the Macau Touring Car Cup. So it certainly leaves the way clear for different winners from the TCR Asia ranks. But as
It's
the
quite
cars...
nice in a way that it spreads out the winning talent between the two races that we've got.
And it certainly gives Andy Yan an opportunity, although he has not really been featuring in the championship this year. But for the Guia race, you can treat it a bit more perhaps as a one-off, and it does run for this TCR Asia Challenge, which is, oh dear, drama already on the formation lap. Now, you were talking about formation weaving, and somebody's got it desperately wrong there, coming out of reservoir. I think that's 82 Lai Zhang Wen, isn't it? That's going to delay the start potentially, because that is a very broken car, and to do that, that takes quite some doing at the first corner of a formation lap. That has hit something very hard indeed. Marshals are on the scene, but that car's going to have to be put on the back of a flatbed, surely.
It needs to be lifted. It's right in the middle of the circuit. Not good news, broken suspension, and the marshals will come over. They'll be in contact with race control, of course, and this is pretty definitely going to be a start delayed, isn't it?
Yes, the only thing you could do is very, very quickly scramble a safety car to the grid and do a safety car start, so the race is on, albeit under controlled conditions, and drive past the wreck. But with it being on the racing line in the middle and debris, I don't think they'd even want to consider that.
No, they've got to deal with the debris, because that's clearly had a bit of a hit. Cold tyres, barriers, doesn't work well, does it? Not a good combination.
No, but that's what you have that formation lap for, to generate the warmth into the tyres. So to have that size of accident, whether another car was involved, we'll try and get to the bottom of. But it's certainly done a lot of damage, hasn't it, there to that car?
It really has. Yeah. Disappointing to see, as the rest of the field presumably won't necessarily know about that.
No.
And they'll still be pressing on with their plan of getting heat into the tyres in a already warm Macau, 27 degrees. This time of year, 27 degrees, beautiful.
Absolutely. Now, all of the potential delay to the start does depend on where the nearest flatbed is and how quickly that car can be lifted. So, for the moment, green flags were being shown, but there, look, the yellow flags are out, and I think we are now about to get a delayed
safety
start.
car board down there?
Yes, but
safety car board
not being
pending.
shown.
Yeah.
A bit of confusion from that marshal's post, but SC board and yellow flag at all marshals posts now is the instruction, which could therefore go to a safety car start. Let's wait and see. So safety car boards and yellow flags around the circuit, but we haven't yet got the race underway for them to actually have any meaning.
No, which may potentially cause a little bit of confusion as they now...
There you go, safety car start. What I was suggesting is going to happen. So the safety car is going to pick them up, and that means that we'll get the race underway and on the timetable, but with the ability to go through the incident zone, at least on that first lap, in safe order. So the cars now come behind the safety car, up towards the line, and may not need to stop. They might just be allowed to carry on and therefore trip the beam to get the race underway. There is a time for the Guia race, which is 35 minutes. And so the safety car leads them across the line. It awaits instruction. It's not been given the go yet. So they are going to try and move the car before they do a safety car start. And the reason for starting behind the safety car is because of the liquid on the road that is being treated. But I'm still intrigued to know what he's done to do that amount of damage on a formation lap.
At the end of the races, we get a highlights package, and we do see a couple of things in that highlights package that potentially we won't have seen live. So it might be at the end of the race that we get an answer to exactly what happened. But that's hit the barriers for sure, and quite a speed for a formation lap.
Yeah, now they're having to put those little dollies under the car so they can slide it off the circuit. And once that is done, we said it was Lai Zhengwen's car, didn't we? Yes, that's going to be out of the way. And so then the safety car will be given the go-ahead, and as it moves, then that will start the clock from the 35 minutes.
And it does now. So the safety car on the move, so too Andy Yan on pole position. So too Lo Si Ho, qualified second. Philippe de Souza, car number 26. And they now? Yep, they've got the important business of getting heat back on the tyres. They've sat there for a little while, haven't they? So past the car which is being recovered, past the dressing of the fluid down on the circuit. What do you call the agent that they put down there?
Speedy Dry, I think it's called, isn't it?
Speedy Dry.
It's as good a name as any.
It's a great name.
So that very battered Audi off the road.
They used to use cement dust, and we still generically call it cement dust from time to time. But apparently cement dust wasn't good, because if it came into contact with moisture, essentially it could set.
Yes.
And that wasn't so good, not in the pores of tarmac.
So the race is on. You might not think it, but this is lap 1 of the race. So under a safety car start, it's not the same as a rolling start, which is behind a course car. The safety car like this means that the race is on. So this is counting within our 35 minutes, and we've had 90 seconds or so as the cars come down towards Lisboa. Andy Jan at the front of the field from the Hyundai.
I worry about the cars. I worry about the cars, David, that aren't weaving. Is that because they're happy that their tyres are warm enough already? But
possibly.
Yeah. But they weren't sat for too long behind the safety car down on the grid, so not required.
I think also it might depend on part of the circuit and what you see ahead of you. More and more drivers starting to think about a bit of a weave up the hill, more weaving at the front here. So that, I think, will trigger all the way back down the order. So Andy Jan versus Lo Si Ho. And of course, if the Hyundai driver was hoping to be able to get the drop on Andy Jan off the grid, then he's going to be disappointed, because they don't stop on the grid. The cars are released, and we are also losing a lap. Under safety car start procedure, total laps reduced by 1 lap as well. So it was 35 minutes or 9 laps. Well, it's now going to be 8 laps. And we should go racing, hopefully, at the end of this lap. We'll wait and confirm.
Well, they were recovering the car and dressing the fluid pretty speedily down there, weren't they?
Yeah. So good work by the Macau marshals as the cars turn their way then through the Solitude S's down towards police.
The marshals are incredibly speedy here at Macau. They don't jog to an incident, they run to an incident. And they know the importance of getting everything clear and ready to race in the shortest time possible. They do an exceptional job.
And because it's a long lap as well, then quite often you have time on your side. Yes, you have to get there speedily, but you know the cars are away from you for quite a long time, so you can get the circuit clear. Number 10, Eurico de Jesus heads towards us in the bright pink Honda. Andy Jan there goes through. He will be the man that will lead them away. So 8 laps in total now. The road looks clear. So are they going to be given 1 lap to go through the Speedy Dry, or is the race director content? No, he's content to let them go. Safety car in at the end of this lap then. So we will go racing this time around. There is, of course, the requirement for safety. There is also to balance the timetable in all of this, because these are public roads that are opened at the end of the day. There's also a finite amount of light, and by about 5:45 here, it's pretty much dark, so everything needs to be in before visibility becomes an issue. So we are about to get the first of the 2 races for the Wynn Macau Guia race underway. This TCR Asia Challenge then brings the cars down towards Fisherman's Bend. Lots of weaving going on now from Andy Jan at the head of the queue, with tucked up behind him, ready for the start of the race, Ho Si Ho. So speed starts to build now as they accelerate down towards our bend, the end of the lap, which puts them in front of the grandstands, parallel to the pits, and then blast down towards Reservoir to, if you like, formally get the race underway. They've had that extra lap, extra formation lap, but counting within the time, counting within the number of laps, as the safety car, the Lamborghini Urus now bails for the pit lane. Andy Yan floors the throttle then to try to get the drop on Ho Si Ho. And maybe a bit of a brush in the back of Felipe de Souza's car there, because Huang Ruohan was right behind him. Over the line, it is Andy Yan that leads them away. Lo Se Ho tucked up behind as they go through Reservoir, then down towards Mandarin. And a change for third place already, because up and past goes Huang Ruohan up into third place, with also getting in on the act Hu Huang in the powder blue Audi. So Felipe de Souza was third. He's already dropped back into fifth place.
Yeah, Juan Rohan really had a sense of urgency off the start, didn't he? Really good start, that. And so too for the top two, because look at the advantage they have already as they go down for the first time under racing conditions into Lisboa. It's gone wrong for the leaders. Both of them go round. The circuit is blocked. That's going to be a bit of a car park. And
more drama further back as well. There's a Honda in the wall big time. And that, by the look of it, is Wong Chin Hung's Honda that has made big contact with the barriers. So the two race leaders both got it wrong. The road is almost blocked. Some have got through. Another one that's been badly delayed is Huang Ruohan, number 7, with his back to us. He was third. There is Maiten's Volkswagen Golf 53 that can't get through. So those that have got through carry on racing. But the two race leaders absolutely threw it away going down towards Lisboa.
At least the rest of the field knows that there's an incident down at Lisboa, because everybody has tried to get through. And what we didn't mention was, thank you very much, says Felipe de Souza,
who was fifth coming into the corner.
Hadn't had a brilliant start, had he?
No, but he was in the right place as everybody else got it wrong and others couldn't find a way through, and it all played into his hands. So Andy Yan, and there's still mayhem, because now Lo Si Ho has stalled it and he can't get the car going, and there's a queue, and oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
It's all gone a bit wrong, hasn't it?
It has, and these aren't easy cars with limited lock and the sequential gearboxes to just quickly hook it into reverse and back out. It's not as straightforward as that. So de Souza leads the way then from in second place, number 95.
Here we go. Oh no, we're not going to see that bit.
Hu Wang. Those are the leaders. So Andy Yan just completely got it wrong. I think Lo Si Ho threw the car into a spin in avoidance. And this, all self-induced, is how the Honda got into the barrier on one side of the road and then across to the other.
Well avoided for the cars behind. That could have been very nasty indeed, because you don't know. Wow, the energy that seemed to re-emerge in that car after hitting the barrier. Looked as if it slowed down, and then all of a sudden got a second wind of propulsion. It was
it did rather
quite interesting.
Yeah. So Wang Chin Hung out of the race in the Honda. Others badly delayed then down at Lisboa, and the leaders aren't far away from it as Felipe de Souza leads then at the end of lap 2. So he leads, unaware to a degree of exactly what confronts him. In second place behind it is Hu Heng. So it is Audi 1-2, and then in third place, 55 of Chen Shi-on, another of the Audis. Ryan Wong is in fourth place. Fifth is a Honda, so you've got Jason Mock in fifth place as the cars head now down towards Mandarin. So it's a rather depleted field after all the dramas of the first few laps. Another one in strife there. Look, he's number 32, Hu Jiaxin's Honda. That's got it wrong heading through the S's. And down towards Lisboa they come. The road, hopefully, is clear this time around as they dive into the right-hander. So far, so good. And a big slide there from 93. That is Ryan Wong. So he's now going to try and sort himself out. What is it in this race that's catching them out at Lisboa? Because there was nothing obvious in the previous race that was dropped by anybody to make the road slippery.
It's most peculiar, and we said how well the marshals deal with incidents quickly. Lisboa was clear until we had yet another problem. So this has not been an easy race, has it?
No.
The previous touring car race seemed relatively without incident.
Yeah, that's the replay of number 32 of Hu Jiaxin getting it wrong, and he gets going again. If you finish this race, you're going to finish well, aren't you? So
Well, yes,
Felipe de Souza, there he is, leads the way. Never has a driver been quite so happy to have been mugged off the restart of a race.
That was amazing, losing 2 places, and then thank you very much. I'll just squeeze through here. And yeah, well, that was quick thinking though, to find the opportunity and not collect the 2 race leaders that were pointing in the wrong direction across the circuit.
The driver of 82, which is Lai Jing-wen, has got to go to the stewards after the race. Well, he's the driver that crashed on the formation lap, so he does have a case to answer. Right, here are the leaders then. Felipe de Sousa up front, but he's being chased by Hu Heng as they drop down towards the Macau hairpin. In third place, Chen Chi-on. And up into fourth place now will be Jason Mock in the first of the non-Audis. Felipe de Sousa still leads the way as he comes down towards Fisherman's. This will be the end of lap number 3 out of 8. Turns into the right-hander, so it's looking good for Audis in this race right now. De Sousa up front, and let's see whether or not Hu Heng can do anything about him. Jason Mock last time, in fact, there he is in the background, number 13. He did the fastest lap of the race, so now that he's starting to shake off Eureka de Jesus, what can he do about those ahead? The car that was on pole position, number 3 of Andy Yan, is still going despite the damage in 11th place.
De Sousa, if the positions stay the way they are now, he's going to be absolutely delighted with this because off the line, I don't think he could have quite predicted that he'd be leading every lap of the race. And a big flash of the lights from Eureka de Jesus in that very distinctive pink Honda, just with the hope that maybe it will make Jason Mock make a slight error.
But is he near enough? The answer is no. Down towards Lisboa. They are both trying to catch up there onto the back of Chen Chi-on as they go out of the right-hander. And the Volkswagen right up with them as well of Chan Wen-kong. Slippery surface flag because of debris there on the road, but that should just about be less of an issue because the line takes you away from it as you climb the hill.
And I think for the first time under racing conditions, we've had no incidents down at Lisboa on this lap.
But the legacy of a Lisboa incident is on the screen. A mechanic flag, in other words, the meatball flag, the black and orange flag for Andy Yan. I'd said he was still going in 11th place, but with the rear wing hanging off, the scrutineers want that car in. So it's going from bad to worse for Andy Yan. He's wasted his pole position, and now he's going to be brought out of the race so that they can try and do something about the damage. And there is the car. You can see why they want it in, because that is not really in a fit and safe state to go racing.
Not really. It's not a fit state to do an awful lot, is it? A very deranged car at the front, at the side, at the rear of the car as well. So the mechanical flag being displayed. And would you believe we are on the half-distance lap here. So Felipe de Sousa has got the fastest lap of the race as well at the front of the field, an advantage of 1.6 seconds over Hu Heng, and the Macau driver at 2:38.6. That's the quickest lap of the race so far.
One other impressive aspect about the Macau circuit, you see the flashing lights around the track. So that meatball flag, in quotes, being given to Andy Yan isn't just going out at the line, it's going around the circuit. So the point of getting to in all of this is that the facilities of a once-a-year circuit are actually in advance of many a permanent circuit around the world.
They're superb, and if you try to use the defence, well, I didn't see my number, I didn't see the flag, I think the answer will probably come. If you didn't see it, then you probably shouldn't be racing, because there is ample opportunity to be called into pit lane.
Right, so de Sousa up towards the end of lap number 4 out of 8. We're being warned about the debris. We've seen where that is. They're in second place. Hu Heng goes through. The gap widening between the top two. Third, Chen Chi-on, and then in fourth place, Jason Mock. Now, he was the man that had the fastest lap of the race to his credit, but not anymore, because that is claimed by Felipe de Sousa, and he's getting away. And the Hondas, in fact, are starting to squabble amongst themselves. Eureka de Jesus is coming back at Jason Mock. Look, pulls out of the draft behind the pair of them. Chan Wen-kong under attack now from Leung Keng-hei, and that doesn't change, but it might do down at Lisboa. Let's see.
Yep, through Mandarin they go. This is a very quick part of the circuit on the run down to, not close enough this time for the run down towards Lisboa. So once again, has to slot in behind. Screen of tyres, got away with it. Goodness me.
That was the second place car, wasn't it, of Hu Heng, who survived a big scare. It's almost like nobody wants to win this race. Felipe de Sousa.
Well, no one wants to get round Lisboa.
No,
really.
sure. De Sousa, after his Pops start, is the race leader in spite of everything. Hu Heng second, and then Chen Chi-on in third place. And what's happening in Honda Land? It is still Jason Mock just ahead of Rico de Jesus, as there they are, absolutely nose to tail.
Picking up the dust there on the technical part of the circuit, leading down towards Teddy Yip and the Solitude S's, as the line of TCR Asia cars for the Wynn Macau Guia race will enjoy that race tomorrow, continue on their way It's a great little battle, this, but it doesn't appear that they can get quite close enough in the number 10 car for Ireiko de Jesus.
Now, the fastest lap has been traded now to Lo Se-ho in the Hyundai that was second when it had the spin at Lisboa in avoidance of the spinning race leader Andy Yan. He's a long, long way back, like a minute and 12 seconds away from the leaders, but fastest lap of the race has gone the way of the Hyundai now. And there is another delayed car. That is Tanser Sun getting out of the way of the leaders. And that's going to bring gaps down. More back markers bail out of harm's way. Leaders sweep through on the inside. So Felipe de Sousa still leads down to the Melco hairpin. He's got traffic up the road, but look at the line of cars for second, third, fourth, fifth. Those Hondas now are up with Hu Heng and Chen Qiong.
Yep, looking like a pretty good battle in the second half of this race. And as de Sousa comes down to complete another lap, this is going to be the completion of 5 laps for Felipe de Sousa in car number 26, qualified on the second row of the grid, didn't get off the line well, but then with the 2 leaders having a spin down at Lisboa, thank you very much, into the lead and hasn't looked back.
So through he goes. Last time the margin had extended because he'd done another personal best lap, and this time another half a second gain. So it's up to 4.4 seconds now. He starts lap 6 out of the 8. In second place is Hu Heng, still being chased by Chen Qiong, and with a big flash of the light, Ireiko de Jesus once again tries to apply pressure to Jason Mock. But de Jesus is not, I don't think, into Mandarin going to unsettle the similar Honda. They dive through together. In a sense, they will try to work together and catch the Audis. But right now, the battle to be the winner of the unofficial Honda class rages on, and it's going Jason Mock's way.
I once asked Tom Ingram, the reigning BTCC champion for 2020, he goes wrong.
That was de Jesus, head on into the tyres.
Oh dear, Lisboa every time, isn't it? Gets the incidents.
Sure, especially in this race. I mean, unlike the other touring car race, it's all happened here. And de Jesus is not an inexperienced driver. Just completely missed his braking point, couldn't make the corner, and kept trying to turn rather than go left and get up the escape road.
Yeah, it could have been a non-damage escape road 3-point turn, but instead buries the car in the front. That's one way to turn off the flashing headlights, isn't it? Goodness me.
Yeah. Jason Mock feels very smug now. You're the one flashing your lights to make me make a mistake. You've done it yourself.
And that was what I was about to say. I once asked Tom Ingram, because he'd been doing that during a touring car race. I said, do you think it makes a difference? Do you think it puts someone off? He said, well, if there's even a 1% chance that it will, I'm going to do it.
It's worth a try, absolutely. Yeah. So de Sousa leads on this 6th lap out of the 8. Remember, we are slightly reduced after the delayed start. And there you've got 2nd and 3rd and 4th. Now, Jason Mock for the podium could be on here in the Honda because he's caught up to Chen Qiong. And without having to worry about Ireiko de Jesus behind him, then he can concentrate purely on attacking, can't he?
Down towards the Melco hairpin, number 95. Hu Heng through the corner and now accelerate past the flashing LED panel indicating green. They can overtake again once they get around the hairpin and down to complete what is going to be, it's an 8-lap race now, isn't it?
Yeah. So
completing 6 laps at the end of this one for this car. Race leader, car number 26, Felipe de Sousa. 2:38.6 is the personal best for the race leader. 2:34.7 for Lo Se-ho, the recovering number 28 car.
And he's in clear air. I know he's a long way back, but he's got 24 seconds to make up before he encounters any traffic, and that's why he's able to do these laps, because he's not being delayed by anybody at all. De Sousa then now starts lap 7, so just under 2 laps to go, with Hu Heng in 2nd place, Chen Qiong there, number 55, in 3rd, and it's Jason Mock in 4th in the best of the Hondas, and he's edging ever closer, isn't he, towards Chen Qiong now. His last lap was 6/10 quicker, so I did suggest a podium was on for Jason Mock, and he's going to have a go down to Lisboa on the outside line, brakes late, go straight on up the escape road. Exit stage left.
Well, the only thing you can say, it's better than hitting the tyres. It's better than hitting the barrier at Lisboa and the damage that you get on the front of the car. It'll take a while to turn the car around, as we can see. So, engage gear, turn the wheel, engage gear again, go back a little bit more, and you do lose quite a lot of time, don't you?
Yes, you do.
But at least the car is in one piece.
That's true, and it can fight on tomorrow, but Jason Mock, running a mock, I think, down at Lisboa, but should be able to rejoin eventually. As you look at now, second place Hu Heng, accelerating through the astonishing S's with Chen Qiong unmolested now in third place, having no longer got to worry about Jason Mock, who's put himself effectively out of the race. That's going to promote then now Lun Ke Hai into fifth place. And all the while, of course, with people dropping off the road, Lo Si Ho is gaining places, not by overtaking necessarily, but he's creeping up the order as others have their dramas.
Still going, that's the thing, and still going quickly as we have now this lap and one more in this first race of the weekend for the Wynn Macau Guia race, TCR Asia Challenge. And it's an advantage at the end of lap number 6 of 3.5 seconds just under for the race leader, Felipe de Souza, who turns through the Melco hairpin, down through Black Sands, and on to complete the penultimate lap of the race, which has been a very eventful race, this one.
Yes. And for de Souza, it's been an eventful first few laps. Third on the grid, fell to fifth off that safety car start, and found himself in the lead coming out of turn 3 as everybody else sort of self-destructed ahead of him. So
Christmas came a few weeks early.
Did it ever? Felipe de Souza is about to start the last lap. So he comes out of our bend, and now the only task is to keep it off the wall. Last lap board goes out.
Confirmation, last lap, hold it all together for the final lap. The advantage as Hu Heng comes across the line in second, extended, so a 4.8 second advantage for the race leader now, because Chen Qiong is right there in the 55 car in third place, not close enough to challenge Hu Heng for second place through Mandarin on the run down towards Lisboa. And Lun Ke Hai makes another place up into fourth place in car 72.
There's the battle, such as it is, for second place. Hu Heng ahead of Chen Qiong, who pulls out, thinks about trying to unsettle the car ahead rather than anything else. It's a serious bid, but it doesn't work. It's too far back. As the cars now make the run up San Francisco Hill. Felipe de Souza leading by 4.8 seconds. It's been a very good, steady drive, and Hu Heng has not been able to do anything about closing that gap down, as the Gulf liveried Audi second and third make the run through Teddy Yip, and then on towards the S's for the last time.
Certainly do, Felipe de Souza. I wonder if a couple of moments after the start of the race, after a safety car start, after the proper start of the race, whether de Souza might think he would be stepping onto the top step of the podium for the first podium for these cars of the weekend. It looks in line to be doing exactly that, with a goodly advantage as well, almost 5 seconds the advantage at the end of lap number 7, the penultimate lap of the race, and such is that advantage. We're not even looking at the race leader at the moment. We're looking at the second place car in isolation as well, in number 95, Hu Heng. Just coming into view is Chen Qiong in third place. At the back of that picture, around Donna Maria, which means the race leader already heading down towards the Melco hairpin for the final time.
So there, the largely yellow Audi, Felipe de Souza turns through. The driver's getting a bit more cavalier as the race goes on, running wider and deeper into the corner. As they do so they start to soak up more and more of the speedy drive put down that was the cause of the delay of the motorbike activity earlier. But with 2 corners to go, honours, it seems, in part 1 of the Wynn Macau Guia race of the TCR Asia Challenge will go the way of Felipe de Souza. The gap's come down a bit on this last lap, but he's got it all under control. Into our bend comes then the leading Audi out of the Champ Motorsport stable. Checkered flag at the ready, and the race win goes the way of Felipe de Souza. He wins part 1 of the Wynn Macau Guia race. Over the line for second, Hu Heng, and then falling away at the end for third place, Chen Qiong. There's a very long wait indeed before anybody else is going to be through for fourth place. There is the Volkswagen Golf of Mike Wynn that had its problems yesterday going off into the barriers. And let's see where that is going to put him. The cars head over the timing line. So fourth goes the way of Lun Ke Hai. And still we wait for the rest of the field to come through. They got a bit strung out. The Golf, for example, was a lap down. But Felipe de Souza, the winner in the end, he did back off at the end. 2.5 seconds the gap had come down to. but a surprising outcome of a rather destructive first race in the Wynn Macau Guia race.
Well, that was rather eventful, wasn't it? And Felipe de Sousa, I'm keen to see the expression on the face when he gets out of the car in Parc Fermé, because...
Mixture of astonishment and delight.
Yeah. Who, me?
Yeah, how?
Super stuff. The lucky Minions windscreen shield at the start of the race paid off, and he knows he's won.
Absolutely.
Both hands off the wheel.
Yeah.
Huge elation, great reception from the crowd for the winning driver, the Macau driver.
It's a home win, isn't it?
It's a home win, and you can hear it in the grandstands, can't you?
Exactly right.
A great deal of support.
Now, Lo Si Ho, despite being caught up in that first lap drama down at Lisboa, partly through his own pace and partly by other people falling off the road, was 8th in the end. So that puts him on the 4th row going into tomorrow's feature race, if you like.
Not too bad.
I reckon he could still do something from
Yeah,
there.
I think you're right.
Whereas Andy Yan was brought into the pits and therefore ended up 2 laps down. 17th he is classified.
So, an enjoyable slow-down lap, a moment to savour when you are a Macau driver and you win at Macau. Proud moment that for Felipe de Sousa on the slow-down lap, celebrating with a flash of the lights, thanking the marshals as well, a wave to the marshals around the circuit, and it's going to be a good celebration on the podium for this one.
It will be. It'll be a noisy one, won't it, with the Macau driver taking the win.
Good.
Felipe de Sousa then, who knows his way around here, and perhaps he could see that all coming down at Lisboa and thought, I'm just going to hang back here, see what happens.
If you have just joined us, we have just enjoyed our first race of the weekend for the Wynn Macau Guia race, TCR Asia Challenge. The race won by Felipe de Sousa. The two leaders spinning on the opening lap after a safety car start down at Lisboa, and almost no way through for the rest of the field. De Sousa found a way through, led the race and didn't look back. So coming up after the podium, after we have confirmation of the result, a win for number 26, Felipe de Sousa in the Champ Motorsport Audi RS3. Second place, number 95, Hu Heng, some 2.5 seconds behind, and Chen Qion completes the top 3 and the podium. Fastest lap of the race in 8th place, a recovering Lo Si Ho after that problem on the opening lap. We will be enjoying highlights of the race after the field have made their way down towards Parc Fermé. And the conclusion of race 1 tomorrow, they race for the prestigious Guia Race Trophy. And Felipe de Sousa, well, winning on Saturday, pretty good. To win the Guia race would be amazing.
Well, he's going to start on pole position. He was 3rd in qualifying, and the two people that outpaced him are going to start behind him, 1/8, 1/17. So, no, I'll tell you a lie, they're not, are they? It's going to be the reversal of the top 10. So actually, Andy Yan and Lo Si Ho are going to be within that top 10 on the grid.
They will.
And because it's the reversal of the qualifying, so de Sousa is going to be on the 4th row. So the front of the grid for tomorrow's race is going to be Eureka de Jesus and Jason Mock on the reversal of the top 10 of qualifying. So Andy Yan gets away with it rather than starting 17th. He is going to be better than that. So it gets a bit of a relief. It's going to make for a very interesting race, that's for sure.
This is going to be an interesting Parc Fermé as well. I wonder just how elated Felipe de Sousa is going to be when he's out of the car. He had both hands off the wheel as he was enjoying, savouring the moments of the slowdown lap. I've got a feeling he's going to be a very, very happy Macau driver, waving to the crowd as he comes in, punching the air as he comes into Parc Fermé.
He's done his first Macau win. I know he's a regular, but quite often he's in races where he's a little bit overshadowed, but he might have had a win in one of the sort of local national races. But in terms of a gear race or a headline race, it'll be a maiden win. Out he gets, and I think this illustrates how much it means to him. Stands atop the car so he can celebrate. Delighted with that. Felipe de Sousa, well done, that man.
Oh, great to see that celebration. That will be in the local papers for sure. And a great celebration in Parc Fermé, and we've yet to have the celebration on the podium, because that's coming up in just a couple of moments.
So drivers then go to the scales, they'll get weighed, reminded by the scrutineer marshals that that's what they've got to do, and then the top three will venture to the podium, where the representatives of Wynn Macau and Wynn Palace await.
So Felipe de Souza has had a third place in the Macau Touring Car Cup, and I think that is his best result at Macau until today.
So now he's a winner on home soil and heads for the scales. Now they're ready for him. Felipe de Souza stands there. The weight is recorded. That goes into the official data sheet. The weight of the car will be added to that in due course. So off comes the crash helmet. He's still celebrating. And a maiden victory at Macau for a delighted Felipe de Souza. Gets his breath back, balaclava off. He's absolutely over the moon, isn't he?
He really is, and it's a shame we can't hear his thoughts. What would the opening question be if you had a chat to Felipe de Souza?
Lisboa, lap one, luck or skill? Because had he been on the other side of the track, like the Audi of Huang Ruohan was, he could have been delayed in that traffic jam. He just was on the right place for the gap.
It was, yeah, very neatly done, it's fair to say. And as soon as you get out of Parc Fermé, that's when you can properly celebrate. And the celebrations continue on the walk over towards the podium. It's great to see these scenes, isn't it?
Very noisy scenes as
well. But it's unique to this event. It is one of the reasons, one of the elements that go together to make this a real highlight of the year.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. It means so much to these drivers. It was an eventful race, that.
So a dramatic first Wynn Macau Guia race, won then by Felipe de Souza. The podium awaits, the drivers making their way to the three steps. Chen-Chi on for third place, Hu Heng for second, and of course, Macanese driver Felipe de Souza for the top step. The grid for race 2 will have the top 10 from qualifying reversed, so puts Felipe de Souza on the 4th row for tomorrow's race. It's not like some of the other categories, the results of race 1 giving you the grid for race 2. So you reverse the top 10 from the qualifying, and then 11th and 12th stay as they are, and then the 13th back, who didn't get to Q2, will form the rest of the grid. But makes for an interesting race, that is for certain. So quite a few cars with a lot of work to be done to repair them, ready for tomorrow. And there, the Wynn Macau Guia race podium awaits. The Wynn girls are now stepping forward, which means we are moments away from receiving the drivers then for this fourth podium of the day. 2 more races for the cars still to come, and all being well, our motorbike action will round out the day.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
So, to the podium, where the winning drivers are
TCR
set
Asia
to come
Challenge,
forward
race 1.
for the Wynn
Third place
Macau
driver,
Guia
number
race.
55.
Third place goes the way of Cheng Chi-on, who steps forward,
Congratulations.
makes his way onto the
Second
third
place
step.
driver,
For second
number
place,
95,
it
Hu
is
Heng.
Hu Heng, who now makes his way to the podium. A very, very happy man
Congratulations.
indeed. But neither of them could do anything about the local hero,
First place
because
driver,
it is a
number
Macau
26,
driver who
local
wins
driver,
the
Felipe Sousa.
first Wynn Macau Guia race. Felipe de Souza steps forward, punches the air, heads to the top step, and then the
Congratulations.
trophies and the garlands are brought forward as well.
Now may I
And
invite
so
Miss
it is
Catherine
going to
Liu,
be
Senior
Catherine Liu,
Vice President
Senior Vice President of Communications of Wynn Macau and Wynn Palace, who will make the presentation of the trophies. First of all, to
number 55.
Cheng Chi-on. She applauds as she heads to the podium. Second place and the winning driver. But there, the garland and the trophy to Cheng Chi-on.
May I now invite Mr.
Then
Greg Fullolove,
Up will come
Chief
Craig
Financial
Fullerlove,
Officer
the
and
Chief
Chief
Financial Officer and
Administrative
Chief
Officer, Wynn Macau
Administrative
Limited,
Officer of
to
Wynn
present the
Macau
trophy
Limited.
to our second place
And,
driver,
Craig
Hu
Fullerlove
Heng.
is going to give the trophy and the garland to the second place driver, Hu Heng.
Congratulations.
Handshakes and smiles all round.
And now may I have
And
the honor
then
to invite
Miss Linda
Miss
Chen,
Linda
the
Chen,
President
President
and Executive Director of Wynn Resorts Macau SA, will make her way to the podium and to present the winning trophy to Felipe de Souza. The trophy is there, the garland first of all, to a very proud man indeed. The winner's Michelin cap adorns the head of race winner Felipe de Souza. The drivers then now all get themselves together for the photographs, dignitaries as well at the front. And
Trophies in the air.
even behind the masks, you know that the drivers are happy. Felipe de Souza takes the mask off so you can see him smile and celebrate the win.
Thank you to
And so our top 3 drivers then. For third place,
And
Cheng Chi-on.
congratulations to our
For
winning
second
drivers
place,
again.
Hu Heng. And race winner, Felipe de Souza, celebrate on the podium. They, of course, will race again tomorrow in the second race for the TCR Asia Challenge, the Wynn Macau Guia race. But now, as the drivers all huddle together for photographs at the end of a slightly destructive first Wynn Macau Guia race, it is honours to Felipe de Souza. And as off come the masks, so it's all smiles on the podium. The winning
Well
margin,
done.
2.5 seconds, and that's going to certainly suggest that he's got good pace going into the second race tomorrow. So we still have Formula 4
Congratulations again.
and GT3 action to come before the end of the afternoon. The winning drivers from the TCR Asia Challenge are about to make their way off the podium, and in a few minutes' time we'll turn our attention back to the grid and look forward to the next activity on track here at this 69th running of the Macau Grand Prix.